This is just wild, really. The force of the blast created a crater, obviously. This is what's happening now. Over there you can see the grain silo, of course, that was destroyed. As you can see, it's absolute devastation. That ship you see over there was actually in the water, but then the force of the blast took it out. They're looking for some bodies over here right now. We'll see what they find, but it's a grim, difficult task. There are currently divers in the water pulling evidence with the intention of trying to figure out what caused the blast. In front of us is this capsized cruise ship, the Orient Queen. You don't understand how anyone could have lived here.
This is the epicenter, a warehouse in Beirut's port where the disaster began with a fire. Inside, unbeknownst to most of Beirut, were nearly 3,000 tons of the fertilizer ammonium nitrate. As the shockwaves radiated out, boats were blown out of the water. Grain stores on which this country relies were destroyed. But what now for the country? Lebanon is already in crisis on multiple fronts. This catastrophic explosion has scarred not just the city's skyline, but the psyche of a nation. It's become a symbol of all that's rotten in the political system.
Authorities are looking into possible external interference in addition to negligence or an accident as reasons for the warehouse explosion in Beirut.
The investigation at the blast site has started in earnest 3 days after the explosion. The cordoned-off area near where the ammonium nitrate was stored is being scoured for clues or evidence left behind in this field of debris. Among the investigators, bomb disposal specialists, experienced in identifying and dealing with explosives. The harbour is also being searched, with teams of divers kitted out in scuba diving equipment making repeated trips. The Lebanese government has given an investigative committee 4 days to determine responsibility for this tragedy. But amidst the investigation, there's also an increasingly desperate search for survivors. They've already located what appears to be the start of an underground network of panic rooms built beneath the giant silo stores. Now they're trying to shift the piles of rubble and spilt grain laying on top so they can investigate.
This is Sarah Dadouche. I'm a Washington Post correspondent based in Beirut. I'm standing in the middle of absolute wreckage.
Exactly a week after the massive blast that injured thousands, damaged buildings, and killed more than 170 people, Dadouche reported from the Beirut port where the explosion went off.
Towering over us is a very big silo that used to be filled with corn. One of its big pipes still has a very orange mound of corn, but the rest is spilled out into the side and into almost going into the water. There's mounds of dirt and sea sand everywhere. There's a cookbook that lies in the rubble, spaghetti squash with clam and mushroom sauce. There's chunks of rubble and a lot of human personal belongings like different foodstuffs, personal items like calendars, popsicles, someone's red nylon shorts. Now in the middle of a crater-like hole under a lot of twisted car metal, a bunch of civil defense, both French and Lebanese, are looking for what could be a body.
But the search for bodies continues as the city mourns and rebuilds. Back at the site of the explosion, Dadouche documents the recovery efforts happening around her. This is the location she was about to head to from her apartment.
The Lebanese civil defense think they've found something. They're wondering if there's a helmet stuck inside. He says it's something else and asks the machine to keep going. Now he's asking them to flip the car over so they can take a better look. They didn't find the body in the car. The men in hard hats and uniforms just try to pull away whatever they can from the wreckage in order to find one of the many missing still. But there is no hope that anyone will be alive.
As you can see, it's absolute devastation. That ship you see over there was actually in the water, but then the force of the blast took it out.
seconds to cause so much death and damage that Lebanese people are calling it their 9/11.
Not just the city's skyline, but the psyche of a nation. It's become a symbol of all that's rotten in the political system.